Hi everyone, my name is Gina Hernandez. I'm a foreign languages student at the University of Pamplona, and today, with my co-researcher Alex Rojas, we are going to present you 3 chapters of our research inquiry, which is about gender impact when learning English as a foreign language, a case study. So let's start. So in this presentation, you're going to find some information about chapter 1 related to the statement of the problem, the research questions, the justification, and the objectives. Also, information about chapter 4 concerning the results, and chapter 5 concerning conclusions. And at the end, you can see the references we use.
In this first chapter, we are going to present different topics related to our research project, which are the purpose of the study, the statement of the problem, and the objectives of the study and research questions.
Let's start talking about the statement of the problem. And the main problem in which this research project is emphasized is in the way in which cognitive brains differences between men and women, their learning strategies and their learning styles affect the language learning process of English as a foreign language.
For the purpose, this case study aims to examine the gender impact in speaking skills of first semester students at the University of Pamplona when learning English foreign language, taking into account some topics such as learning conditions, the social context, and gender difference. In order to conduct this research project, the researchers established the following questions. Firstly, we have the grammar question, which is, how does gender influence the speaking skills of third semester students at the University of Pamplona when learning English as a foreign language? And 3 sub-questions. The first one, in which way does gender infer when implementing the third semester students' own way of learning? How do the students feel when working either with male or female partner? Would it be the same? How can the teacher's gender influence the oral production of students? Would it be the same?
Let's move on to the objectives. So, the general objective of this research is to recognize how gender has an effect from a cognitive perspective on the speaking skill of EL intermediate college foreign students at the University of Pamplona. And the specific objectives are to analyze if learning styles of third semester students have any effect in the speaking skill when accomplishing discourse tasks. The second one is to examine the behavior of male and female students while working with another student of his or her same gender. And the third one is to compare the fluency and accuracy of male and female students while they are being examined by male or female teachers. While talking about the results, the researchers found that the teacher genders cannot affect the speaking skill of students in a direct way, but instead of this, there are other aspects related to gender that could affect the speaking skill of students, such as, for example, the attitude, the personal factors, external factors, or even the vocabulary, because we all know that women handle more extensive and not so common topics in everyday conversation, so it could be an indirect way to affect the speaking of the students because of the gender. Another concern of the researchers were the students' feelings were working either with a male or female partner, and well, there are 16% of the population that says that the success of teamwork does not depend on gender but on the intellect of their colleagues. But we have also 50% of the population, and they say that women are better to work with. Why? Because they are more engaged with the academic works. They are more dedicated and meticulous in their academic staff. And we have also a 16% of women uh, that says they feel frustrated when working with men because they are not perfectionists as women and they take the path of easy and silent solutions. Finally, the researchers found that gender cannot infer in the learning styles of students because learning styles are such as innate. But instead of this, gender can influence in the learning strategies that students prefer when practicing their speaking skill or when learning a foreign language because the most common learning strategy people use is multimodal.
In order to conclude this research project, firstly, we have that based on third semester students' learning styles, it was evidence that there is not a relationship between their gender and their learning style. Why? Because most of the students implemented the same learning style without taking into account their gender. In this sense, it can be said that both genders base their achievement on what they think is the best way to acquire new knowledge, given that they focus more on their needs and capacities than on their gender itself. Moreover, based on the researchers' own perspective and the information gathered from the second and third semi-structured interviews, it is believed that females have the tendency to be more disciplined and committed. On the other hand, it was also found that students did not present any kind of inconvenience nor feel a negative behavior because when it is demanded to work in teams with someone of the opposite gender as long as their partner shows his or her interest while developing the task required. Nevertheless, there was or there existed a small percentage that had a preference for working with females because of their commitment and their ability to maintain an active interaction within the group. Finally, regarding the gender of the teacher, the situation here is completely different. Consider that females and males tend to present a diversity of feelings such as insecurity, being under pressure, and frustration, and that is why it is important to highlight that aspects such as the teacher's attitude, strategies, and methodologies could represent a real issue for them due to the fact that the students' fluency and accuracy are being directly affected at the moment of speaking.
And finally, I'm gonna let you hear the references. And that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.